Well, g'day and welcome back again to Chongqing, and tonight we're actually just out for a walk. I wasn't even going to make a video tonight. We've come across these guys. We're down here, we've got Paifeng Square just over this way behind us. But down here on the corner of the road here, we've got these guys playing this game here, which I love this thing. This is very similar to what you see in Australia with hacky sack or in other places. And it is basically trying to keep this almost like a shuttlecock up in the air. And you quite often will get guys down here doing this. Hello! Doing this down here. We've got a lady on our left sort of being given practice. So she's trying to do kicking back from behind her, back over her head. And we've got a couple of other groups down here playing this. So yeah, I love watching these guys do this. This is something I occasionally will play around with students at school. It is quite a common thing, quite a popular little thing to do here. Really, really good to keep you fit. Really nice social activity. These guys are really good. We'll have a look down here. We've got a bucket full of them down here. Give you a look at what they're kicking. So this is the this is what it is. It's basically a rubber pad down the bottom, a little bit of weight in there, and then feathers on the top to make sure it's flying the right way. And yeah, these guys are doing really, really well. It's really good fun to play. We're going to keep on walking here because I've actually got another subject I want to talk about. But we have just looked up a little bit of information about this. So. The game you describe, this is from, actually I'm not even sure of the name of the app, it's an AI app. Hello, how are you? Good job. So the game you describe is called Jianzi. Jianzi kicking or Jianqiu. So Jianzi kicking emerged in the Han Dynasty of China and became highly favoured during the 6 dynasties, Sui and Tang eras. Okay, get over this road while we can. So, we've got a bit of a jam here waiting for the lights to change. They won't be long. So Jianzi kicking emerged in the Han Dynasty of China and became highly favoured during the 6 dynasties, Sui and Tang eras. A Jianzi is typically made by enclosing a copper coin or small piece of iron sheet with coin or leather and inserting a cluster of feathers at the top. In the game, players can use their feet, knees and other parts of the body to keep the Jianzi aloft with common kicking techniques including pan, kicking with the inner side of the foot, guai, kicking with the outer edge of the foot, Ke, using the knee to bounce the Jianzi, beng, kicking with the tiptoe. Jiangqiu is a sport that evolved from traditional Jianzi kicking. In the 1980s, modern sports elements were integrated into Jianzi kicking to create Jiangqiu. Jianqi. No, I can't get that one out. Uses a badminton-like court, volleyball-like rules and football-like skills, and is played as an over-the-net competitive activity. It is really, really good fun to play. Yeah, I have played around with that quite a bit over the years. It is good fun, really, really good for fitness. But the other thing I wanted to talk about here is the swastika, because it is a, if you're from most of Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand, the swastika is seen as a symbol of Nazi Germany. It's one thing, when I first arrived here in China, the first couple of times I went to like Buddhist temples to have a look at these temples, you would see swastikas all over the place. And my first sort of thought was a thought of horror. What the bloody hell? Don't tell me the Nazis infiltrated these places. And it is very common still, anytime I go to a Buddhist temple, you see the swastika image everywhere. It's very, very common. And it's something that if you're coming to China and you're from a country that had history with the Nazis, whether it was being aligned with them like the Italians or fighting against them like most of Europe, it can be quite confronting to see that symbol just put out there like that. So I decided to do a little search. So we've actually used Gemini for this one. Oh, we've lost our... How do I find my old chats on this? I did just search up some information. I've had to turn my VPN on because I used Gemini for this search because I just found this new AI thing that I wanted to give a try. So because it's a Google product, of course you need a VPN to be able to use it here in China. So I asked the question, and I kind of knew some of this already, but I wanted to get the best information for you guys. So what can you tell me about the swastika and the history of the swastika? Living in China, I see it in a lot of Buddhist temples, which you would think Buddhism, good, moral, all that sort of thing. But then it was adopted by the Nazi Party during World War II by Nazi Germany. How did it come? Okay, my question wasn't well formed. I was doing this on the fly. Let's just say, how did it come to being a Buddhist symbol to the symbol of Nazi Germany? And the answer is as follows. And yeah, I'm not sponsored by Gemini, but it gave a good answer. So I'm happy to recommend this. If you're looking for an AI app, Gemini seemed to work pretty well. I could ask the question using my voice. I didn't have to type the question or anything. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm still experimenting with it, seeing how well it works. But on what I know so far, I'd recommend it. So its answer. The swastika's story is one of a truly ancient and widespread symbol of peace and good fortune that was tragically co-opted and forever tainted by the Nazi regime. Your observation in China is a perfect example of its original meaning, which is still very much alive in many parts of the world. The swastika in Chinese and Buddhist culture. The swastika, or wan in Chinese, has a history in China that dates back to Neolithic times, and it was later fully integrated with the introduction of Buddhism from India. Ancient roots. The symbol has been found on pottery from about 5,000 years ago in China, where it was likely used as a decorative motif, possibly representing things like a whirlpool or a star. Buddhist significance. When Buddhism was introduced, the swastika was adopted as a sacred symbol. In Buddhism, it is often said to represent the auspicious footprints of the Buddha, the heart of the Buddha, or the concept of eternal happiness and good fortune. You will often see it on the chests of Buddha statues, which I've seen that many, many times. On temple decorations and in religious texts. A symbol of good fortune. The Chinese character for the swastika, wan, and they do show us the character here, but I can't show you that. Also means 10,000 or myriad, and the symbol is associated with endless longevity and prosperity. This is why it is still a common sight in China, Japan, and other parts of Asia, where it carries no Nazi connotation, which we're going to get back to the Nazi connotation in a minute, because there's another sort of side. Well, no, it's not a side of this, but it's another related thing that I've found here in China, which I found really interesting when I first got here. Carrying on, it's important to note the difference in appearance. The Buddhist swastika is often oriented flat, with its arms pointing up, down, left and right. And it can be either clockwise or counterclockwise. The Nazi version is typically tilted at a 45-degree angle. From good luck to a symbol of hate. The story of how the swastika became associated with the Nazi Party is a complex and dark one, rooted in a twisted ideology. The Aryan myth. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a wave of nationalism was growing in Germany. German scholars and nationalists began to associate the swastika with a fabricated concept of an Aryan race that they believed was superior and had ancient Indo-European origins. This was based on the fact that the swastika had been found in ancient artifacts from both India and Germanic cultures. Hitler's choice. Adolf Hitler was drawn to the symbol, and in 1920 he chose it as a central emblem for the Nazi Party. In his book Mein Kampf, he explained his design for the Nazi flag: a black swastika within a white circle on a red background. He stated that the red represented the social idea of the movement, the white, the nationalist idea, and the swastika, the mission of the struggle for the victory of Aryan man. A symbol of propaganda and terror. The Nazis then weaponized the swastika, transforming it from a symbol of peace and well-being into one of racial hatred, anti-Semitism, and Jesus Christ, I can't bloody talk. Totalitarian power. The symbol became an instrument of propaganda and was used to instill pride in those who identified with the Nazi cause and terror in those they deemed their enemies, particularly Jews and other minority groups. The swastika's history shows how a potent, positive symbol can be appropriated and completely redefined by a political movement. In the Western world, particularly in countries directly affected by World War II, the symbol is overwhelmingly and understandably associated with the Holocaust and Nazism. However, in many other parts of the world, it retains its original millennia-old meaning of peace, good fortune, and spirituality. And that's the information that we've got on this symbol. I particularly liked that little piece there. The swastika's history shows how a potent positive symbol can be appropriated and completely redefined by a political movement, which we still see being done today. I've made no secret of the fact that when talking politics, I'm very much left of centre, but I'm happy to have conversations with people who are on the right and stuff. You know, I like to hear other ideas, and more than that, I like to understand why people hold those ideas. But the way that people can take, especially politicians, those with political power, can take whether it is symbols or whether it is ideologies or whether it is what you believe, how you believe people should be treated, and twist that and turn it to pit people on opposing sides against each other. You see that especially in America at the moment. It's very, very powerful in America. See a lot of shootings and stuff that are politically motivated. Yeah, there's way too much hatred out there. You know, if you can't, it's funny how the people who seem to scream about democracy the loudest seem to be the same people who have the biggest issue with people actually disagreeing with their ideas. It's quite an eye-opening thought. And yeah, the way that we can be manipulated so easily is a bit disheartening, really. But back to the Nazi thing. Another thing that I saw when I first came to China, and I first sort of got Taobao, which is one of the shopping apps here, on my phone. And I haven't seen it much recently, but a few years ago I used to see a fair bit of kind of Nazi memorabilia, let's say, type of stuff. You'd see like costumes of Nazi uniforms, SS and stuff like that. And you know, a lot of the badges, you know, the Nazi badges. And my first thought was, my God, what the bloody hell? But then I had it explained to me that for a lot of people here, that China didn't fight against Nazi Germany. They had enough trouble on their own with what was going on with Japan during that time. So while we in the West, especially European countries, or the countries that came and fought for, you know, well, mainly the Commonwealth countries that came and fought for the Europeans against Germany, we have a much closer connection. So those kinds of symbols sort of hit us a lot harder. Here, a lot of those sort of symbols are probably, and I might be wrong in this, but I would guess are probably more associated with computer games, with characters from computer games, than they are with an actual group from World War II, mainly the Nazis. So yeah, it's really interesting. When I first came here and A, saw the swastikas on Buddhist temples, and B, you know, saw this Nazi stuff, the Nazi Germany stuff for sale online, it was really, really jarring. It shocked the hell out of me. And it wasn't until sort of doing a bit of research and talking to some different people and asking, you know, what's going on here, that I kind of started understanding that, yes, from my perspective, the Nazis were really, really bad. But from a Chinese perspective, they really know very little about the Nazis because, like I say, they had a lot more issues going on with Japan. And, you know, well, actually, I don't know how much people know about the history of what went on between Japan and China and some of the horrors that went on here under Japanese rule when they were invaded. But so yeah, the Nazi stuff, I mean, you look at some of the Nazi uniforms, you know, the SS uniforms, they looked really good. And I think that is another reason why they're attractive here. They had some stunning uniforms, maybe some of the best of World War II. It's a shame that they got so tainted by the evil that was the Nazis. But like I say, for the Chinese people, they just look at them as something that looks really good. They don't have that same association with the evil that those of us who fought against Germany had. So yeah, it's interesting to look at how different people view the same thing when they have a completely different perspective on something. And it really reminds me that, you know, when I'm talking with somebody, okay, so a really good example is Mr. Tony, who, if you haven't checked his channel out yet, go and check him out. He does great videos. He's based here in Jiaoqing at the moment as well. We catch up fairly regularly, but we have differing opinions on a number of political issues. And we sit down and we talk about them fairly regularly. Different issues come up, and instead of just sitting down and going, oh, you're wrong, we actually sit down and we actually talk to each other. And instead of trying to show that the other person's wrong, we try and understand why the other person thinks the way they do. And it's something I really wish that there was more of in the world. You know, whether you're talking about your country's internal politics, so you know, Democrats or Republicans in America, Liberal and Labor in Australia, the Tories and Labor in England. Instead of fighting with people who vote differently from you, sit down and talk to them. Find out, okay, they think this. Why do they think this? Do they think this because they know something that I don't? Do I need to re-examine what I believe? Because I also think that's a really good thing to do, is sit down and think about your beliefs and justify your beliefs, and as new information comes to light, quite possibly change your beliefs. I think there's a lot of people out there who don't do that, and myself included. You know, there's certainly things that I'm sure I'm wrong about, but I try and always question, you know, if I believe this, why do I believe this? What's the other side of the argument? Why would somebody believe the opposite of me? Because, you know, I don't claim to be any smarter than anybody else. I don't claim to have any more knowledge than anybody else. Maybe what I do have is different knowledge. So if people disagree with me, what do they know that I don't know? Or what is it that I know that they don't know? I actually think there's much less disagreement on a lot of topics between left and right than people might be led to believe. When you actually talk to people on the other side of politics, a lot of things people actually tend to agree with the major substance. It's the smaller stuff. How do we deal with this problem? That is the issue. And seeing this stuff here with the things like the swastika, things like the, you know, Nazi memorabilia sort of stuff. Not memorabilia so much, it's reproductions of stuff being on sale here. It really made me think about how different people view different things, and it's been a really, really good lesson. It's something I would recommend everybody try and think about a little bit, and have a think about the things that you disagree with, that other people, or the things that you agree with, or the things that you believe that other people disagree with you about. Why do other people disagree? Analyze what you believe. Go and have a deep dive. Try and don't just try and justify what you believe, try and disprove what you believe. Often that's the best way. If you can disprove or bring into question something that you believe, that's probably the best way to go about it. But you've got to be open-minded enough to be able to admit to yourself, yeah, I was wrong. Otherwise, if you can't do that, you're just wasting your time. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I was just going to talk about the swastika thing while I'm out for a little walk. It's actually been raining here all day today, so it's the first sort of dry bit of weather we've had today. So I thought I've got to get out of the house and go for a walk, get a bit of exercise in. Oh, we got roadwork stuff over here. We've got to walk around here. Yeah, but then I saw them guys playing that, what was it called? Jianzi. I thought, oh, we've got to go and have a look at that because that's really cool. I enjoy playing that. Trying to think if we've got anything more to add. We're about 10 minutes from home, so we might finish up there and we're just going to go and enjoy the rest of our walk. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you've enjoyed that, like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Questions or comments on this subject down there in the comment section, hit us up. Yeah, this might turn out to be a bit of a controversial one. We'll see how we go. And as always, if there's anything you'd like to know about life here in China, in Guangdong, especially here in Jiaqing, being that this is where I live, again, hit us up down there in the comment section. If you come up with a good idea for a video, I'll go away, do the research and make you a video. Facebook, a Scott in China, hit us up, come and join the group, trying to get some conversations and stuff going there, sharing some more information, stuff that I don't do stories about here in China. Yeah, hopefully different people can share different interesting information. There was something else I was going to mention before we disappeared as well, was it's totally gone. I can't remember what I was thinking of saying. No, it's gone. It's totally disappeared. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. So our students get back this week to school. It is Monday night now. I think they all got back yesterday. And they will, so yeah, they'll be in school now starting. We're not actually starting classes till next week, I found out today. So yeah, another week off. I'm still dying to get back to doing what I do. But we'll just spend a bit more time, make a few more videos, find some new places to go. But for now, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you all in the next one. Cheers.